Good afternoon. So, what we studied in the last session? Ethical dilemma. What is ethical dilemma? Further, after that, what? Concepts, not just examples. What is constitutional morality?
The essence of the constitution, not just in the letter, but also in the spirit.
How you will follow in spirit?
So by following the constitutional values in the terms say, in the way that with that intention.
Intention is important. Then, after that, what we studied? Yes. Three laws, I guess, three types of laws. Broader classification by who? Okay. Divine law, canon law, eternal law, human law, and natural law. So, who will govern the governed? Who will govern who is governing? Yes, fear of God. If there is no fear of God, then conscience or character, ethical values, which acts as a moral compass. And then further, conscience, I guess. What is conscience? Moral compass, moral constitution, the inner feeling of right or wrong. That is conscience. What is significance of conscience? Yes, conscience can be helpful taking qualitative decisions. And can application also be discussed? Application at individual level, how religion also promotes conscience. Then further civil services, how it acts as an internal check, as a moral guide when rules and regulations are not clear. So what can be the criticisms of conscience? I guess that was not discussed. Yes, what can be the criticisms of conscience? Yes, wrong decisions. That is one criticism, that if you socialize is wrong, then conscience itself will be wrong. Conscience about inner feeling of right or wrong. If conscience socialization is good, wrong, then inner feeling will be wrong only. Then decision won't be qualitative. No qualitative decision will take place. Then further, what can be some more criticisms of conscience? Yes, very good. Rule not rule based. How will you justify this? Very difficult to justify conscience. At least rules ensure objectivity, which is one of the important principles by who? Oh, yes, Nolan. More values we'll discuss. Then I'll ask you again, which are the Nolan principles? Which are the values of good governance? ARC2 also gives some values and more challenging. Who's who? Then further, what can be more some criticisms of conscience? See, conscience, there is no objectivity in conscience. You don't know the nature and structure of conscience. Do you know? Weber gives some structure. He justifies that structure. Why those values are needed? Does conscience has structure? It is what? It is just inner feeling. Feeling can be anything. And it's very difficult to justify conscience. How will you justify? You did not take decision as per rules. You will say, I took account to my feelings. How? It's very difficult to justify. So it reduces objectivity. Also, it's very subjective as well. How subjective it is? Can anyone tell? You take a decision based on conscience. Then, yes, very good. We know bureaucracy works in a hierarchy. This is the hierarchy. You are here, suppose middle level manager. You are at the top. You take conscience based decision based on conscience. But your boss says This is wrong conscience. My conscience said decision should have not been this. Very total chaotic. Boss is saying, no, your wrong decision, you should be prosecuted. This is mala fide decisions. How will you justify? Very difficult to justify conscience-based decisions. Yes, also conscience varies from what people to people. Nirbhaya happened. You know Nirbhaya? The judges said conscience of the nation is shaken. But why only Nirbhaya? Many things happen every day. Why then conscience didn't shake? Because it was in capital of the country, so highlighted. In villages, in tier 2 cities, every time this keeps happening. No highlight. Also, Manipur was burning. Many say conscience of the nation is shaken. But JNK, since long I guess, no one's conscience was shaken then. Then this is subjectivity of conscience. Different things will different things will differently shake conscience of different kind of people. So conscience is very subjective then. As it depends on the socialization, wrong concerns, wrong inner feeling. However, conscience is also very significant because it acts as a moral constitution. We see in a very good way. Conscience is also what? Application of wisdom, but wisdom is developed is the highest form of knowledge. So if highest form of knowledge person develops, rules will be lower to him. She has a better understanding of conscience and what is right or wrong because she has achieved wisdom. You know wisdom, highest form of knowledge, which is Aristotle interprets it as happiness. Person A develop wisdom, lot of hard working, lot of understanding. Parliamentarians, are laymen. This person may have higher level of understanding than parliamentarians because of wisdom. Gautam Buddha, say if you consider Gautam Buddha, he had higher level of understanding than most of the people. So whatever decision may he take based on conscience may be right. Conscience based decision. So that's why conscience is also very significant. Oh, you could develop own principles then. Inner feeling, we know. What is that last stage of Lawrence Kohlberg? Moral autonomy. What is moral autonomy? You understand what is right or wrong, you develop own principles. So wisdom is developed, you develop own principles. You may also give some theories for ethics also then. Structured concept, structured theories. That is also then qualitative decision. So if most of the cases, law makes good decisions, but human can also make good decision based on conscience. So that way, conscience is also very much significant. Okay, criticism is clear. Okay, one more concept we'll discuss, then you write. Now conscience is clear, everyone. What is conscience? Of good or bad? Where are your friends? Home? Very good. So inner feeling of good or bad, that is conscience. Then what is crisis of conscience now? Conscience, everyone know. Now what is crisis of conscience? Yes, mismanagement. तो crisis हो जाता है. So that is also ethical dilemma, right? So what is an ethical dilemma? And what is conscience then? Both are same.
Bad situation. So maybe conscience is not good stability.
Mhm.
Lack of the sense of differentiate
That is moral illiteracy. Ethical illiteracy सही और गलत को differentiate ना. What is crisis of conscience?
but by using like medicines, जैसे
Person develops moral sense, and that moral sense attacks that person. Okay, what is moral sense? Okay, then freedom of decision making only backfires. Feedback loop. And again you make decision, again backfires. Again decision, again backfires. Caught in the web of pain. Okay. तो इसके डिसीजन के बाद ही कौन सा क्राइसिस होगा? So this is equal to ED, ethical dilemma. Okay. It is yeah, no, yes or no. You are in difficult situation. तो dilemma ही हो गया सर. Crisis of conscience means extreme level of tension, emotional turmoil you go under because your some values you have been holding on that have been challenged. Extreme level of emotional turmoil, extreme level of tension because your values have been challenged. There can be very bad feeling. That is crisis of conscience. Conscience is inner feeling of good or bad. Inner feeling will come from what? From some values you hold, from which comes from process of socialization. So that has been challenged. So you are totally in turmoil, emotional breakdown, total crisis. That is crisis of conscience because your core values of your personality has been challenged. And you have to take a decision, and taking a decision you will compromise on your inner feelings which are against what you have been holding on to. That is crisis of conscience. I'll explain again. So I'll give you one example. Like once I told you, there was one aspirant with optional. I said your fundamentals are weak. You need to revisit your fundamentals and foundation. So total crisis of conscience. No one must have shown her reality that this is also people keep on pumping air in the bubble and one day bubble burst. Not ready to accept because many must have told you are very talented, you know everything, you will clear this examination. Then one day core values were challenged. So total turmoil, not ready to accept. So that's why flexibility is needed. Total turmoil, extreme level of tension. That is crisis of conscience. People go blank. That is crisis of conscience. So crisis of conscience is extreme. An emotional turmoil. Why? Because core values have been challenged. Resulting very guilty feeling. This is crisis of conscience. Core values have been extreme level of guilt feeling you get. This, you may take a decision or you may not take a decision. Even if you take a decision with crisis of conscience, you have compromised on your core self values. That is crisis of conscience. This will get compromised. Clear what is crisis of conscience? What is crisis of conscience? You can get before the decision also you can be in crisis, after also you can be in crisis. So what is crisis of conscience? Guilt, extreme level of extreme, total here, because your core values have been challenged. Core values. Everyone knows Hansi Cronje. Hansi Cronje, South African captain. He did match fixing. Hansi Cronje, अभी देख लो. This person did match fixing. It's in Delhi where match was happening and CBI surveillanced this. Surveillanced his phone. Initially, the South African board and everyone denied, no, this is not, this is fake, etc. But he must have gone under crisis of conscience. He was externally showing, maybe showing, I am very righteous person. But he himself organized a press conference and said, yes, I have done this match fix. Crisis of conscience. Hansi Cronje. यार तुम लोग क्रिकेट नहीं देखते थे क्या? Hansi Cronje, South African captain, because externally he was showing one match was happening, I guess, and India versus South Africa. That time, the India was batting, and our batsman here, other batsman here, they were taking run. Our batsman fell down here, so he was thrown the ball and he refused to take out the bails because he was fallen. So here he was showing high integrity and sportsmanship, and then match fixing this. Then afterwards, after many years, he was everything removed. Then he was traveling through a plane, and that plane crashed and he died. So yes, he accepted. His press conference he had given. See, don't do bad things, because if he would have not done this, he would have been alive. That time he was traveling in like how we travel in common class, but he would have been still remained a captain, and he would have been traveling with the South African team. At that plane he would have not boarded, he would have been alive today. Shrishant also, I guess, match fixing later that crisis of conscience, kept crying, etc. Crisis of conscience. This is crisis of conscience. Core values challenge हो गए ना उनके. Core value may be integrity. He was showing integrity there. So that scenario challenged his core values. So emotional turmoil, he took a decision. Decision also he taken, guilty feeling. Then he made that press conference. Either you take a decision or don't take a decision. Maybe to be loyal to his core values, he accepted match fix. बीच में तो crisis ही हुआ रहेगा. That's why he accepted. Otherwise, that board totally saved him. The CBI released lot of tapes that time. CBI or Delhi police both released, and they were total denial. No, nothing has happened. This is crisis of conscience. Extreme level, extreme. Emotional turmoil, total tension. Your core values have been challenged, which you have garnered through the process of socialization. So entire socialization of your life gets challenged. That is crisis of conscience. Now, How it is different from ethical dilemma? What is ethical dilemma? हाँ ये भी सेम हो गया. नहीं, पर वहाँ पे भी कोर वैल्यूज हो सकते हैं ना, इंटीग्रिटी वर्सेस ऑर्डर, सुपीरियर ऑर्डर. How is different from ethical dilemma? Ethical dilemma पता है, तो थोड़ा क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग लगा के सोचो कैसे अलग हो सकता है.
And they have confidence in the social statement.
But in crisis, complete and go to the big challenge because the situation is not that extreme.
Yes, in ethical dilemma, sometimes core values also get challenged. Not always, but difference exist. Ethical dilemma can happen in low, moderate, and high level of tension also. So if core values get challenged, higher level of tension also happens. So that's why there are overlapping also. Ethical dilemma can also result in crisis of conscience. Also, yes, core value may not be also get challenged sometimes. It professional values get challenged largely in ethical dilemma. Also, crisis of conscience can happen before decision making also. But ethical dilemma, decision is mandatory for you to take. So after decision, ethical dilemma happens. This can happen before decision also and after decision also. Okay, so that is majorly the larger difference between them. And yes, both are more or less similar, but this difference exists. Okay, so that is largely a difference between ethical dilemma and crisis of conscience. Ethical dilemma may not result in extreme level of emotional turmoil. Crisis of conscience will result in extreme level of conflict, tension, emotional turmoil, because in totality your personality and personal values have been questioned. There's some incident or anything. That's why rather not to avoid crisis of conscience, you should have a flexible nature. Take criticism, improve, etc. People who are very rigid, they are more likely to suffer from this, because rigid personality, less flexibility, low emotional intelligence, very vulnerable to serious crisis of conscience. This is then crisis of conscience and ethical dilemma and criticism of conscience. Yes, you may not act only. It is not mandatory for you to act. It is not in necessarily does not occur in organizational setup. Crisis of conscience can also occur outside your organizational setup. Ethical dilemma is more organizational focus. What were the dilemmas? Public interest versus superior's orders, integrity versus compassion, more organizational context. Okay. So write weakness of conscience, weakness of criticisms. Conscience is considered as a subjective concept. As it has not been explained objectively. Not been explained objectively. That is, it does not give in detail the nature and structure of human conscience. In detail, the nature and structure of human conscience. Does not give in detail the nature and structure of human conscience. Next point. Decision based on conscience can't be objectively proved. Can't be objectively proved. That is why the decision is right or wrong. That is why the decision is right or wrong. Especially by civil servants. Especially by civil servants. Because some people have better conscience. Because some people have better conscience than others. Because some people have better conscience than others, and quality of decision can be questioned. And quality of decision can be questioned. Next point. Human conscience cannot be always right. Many times humans can take wrong decisions. Because of faulty socialization. Many times human can take wrong decisions because of faulty socialization. Next point. All humans don't have development of their conscience. All humans don't have development of their conscience in same manner. At the same time, same manner, at the same time, there can be subjective application of conscience. Can be subjective application of conscience. Give example here. Example, when the Nirbhaya case happened, the judge remarked the incident shook the conscience of the nation. Happened, the judge remarked the incident shook the conscience of the nation. But many such incidents happen in the past as well as in the future. The judge remarked this incident shook the conscience of the nation. But many such incidents had happened in the past as well. Similarly, the violence of Manipur, the violence in Manipur shook the conscience of the nation. Similarly, the violence in Manipur shook the conscience of the nation. In the past also, this kind of incidents happened. Past also, these kind of incident had happened. Now also this Kolkata thing, many hoo-halla is going on because I guess similar incident had happened in Uttarakhand. Some, I guess, hotel staff was similarly tortured. That time it was not that. So subjective application of human conscience. So even if conscience is subjective, that different, like a significance of conscience. Even if conscience is subjective, but it has its own recognition. And human decision is profoundly influenced by conscience. Is profoundly influenced by conscience. That's why people have profoundly influenced by conscience. That's why people have, number one, own principles of life. Number two, courage of conviction. Number three, application of wisdom. Next, trust in humanity. So write in a type of conclusion now. Human can make better decisions. Human can make better decisions if not by law. So by conscience, which will guide the human behavior. Give next heading, crisis of conscience. If not better decisions, if not by law, make by conscience. If you see your conscience is better, if you have wisdom and you can override the law. So make by human conscience. We discussed that example, Aadhaar example. Yes. Many times we discuss now in to make quality of decisions. You can also go beyond law. In most of the times you should follow the law, but if situation demands, compassion demands, then conscience-based decisions can also be made. We have justified, I guess, in the last session, conscience-based decisions. Even civil services rules also talked about conscience-based decision if quality of decision can be improved. That's why Modi ji said, you take risk, I will protect you. That is, he was telling conscience-based decision. Same independence speech yesterday also, he is saying red tape to red carpet. Again, and governance is again defining good governance, same thing. He talks about service to people, I guess now. He was talking responsibility, accountability and service to the people. Again, too much of PUBAD is studying this concept of NPS, new public service. It says government should not regulate but serve the people. That's why I am your Pradhan Sevak, not your Pradhan Mantri, your first servant. That too also copied from first Prime Minister. He said first time this, I am your first servant, first servant. Yes, significance of conscience. Yes, हो सकती है ना. We know wisdom is what? A process of socialization, conscience. Some people have wrong wisdom. That's why there is emphasis on development of wisdom. You see any good leader's speech, they will talk about this. Wisdom, 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 they will talk. Yeah. Right, crisis of conscience. A situation or a state of mind when he came for the first time. Then also governance he defined in the same way. We'll discuss that today. Only this time he added that service to people or something. Modi ji, yesterday's speech. First time he defined the governance in same way. We'll discuss that. In just one factor he added today. That's service to people or something like that. A situation or a state of mind where there is extreme level of tension. There is extreme level of tension or emotional turmoil. Only emotional turmoil that may happen due to first person is in the state of shock. Person is in the state of shock. Next, his core identity or values may be challenged. score identity or values may be challenged. Next, may have extreme level of guilt feeling. Next, may face a situation where he has to take decision. May face a situation where she has to take the decision, which may result in compromising. She has to take a decision which may result in compromising some of these strong values. Compromising her core values. Compromising her core values. So next, even after taking decision, she may feel some grave mistakes have happened. She may feel some grave mistakes have happened. Grave mistakes or very turbulent mistakes or very big mistakes have happened. Therefore, crisis of conscience is related with both before and after the decision. Therefore, COC is related with both before and after the decision. And there is extreme level of guilt and remorse. Guilt and remorse. Also after the decision also it can happen. Now you are writing the paper, you didn't prepare well, you are shocked already, thoda tension chal hi raha hai, and then you start writing question 1, question 2 लिखना चालू कर रहे. QCA बाजू में पेपर भी देते हो डी अटैच करके तुम्हारे रेफरेंस के लिए, यू नो, एक डी अटैच का एक बुकलेट देते हैं पहले और उसके पीछे पेपर सारे क्वेश्चंस लगे रहते हैं. सो क्वेश्चन को तुम डी अटैच करके पहले यहाँ पे क्वेश्चंस पढ़ सकते हो. एक बुकलेट रहता है QCA बुकलेट, उसके पीछे सारे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. तुमने पढ़ा क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 और लिख दिया क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 में. एक्सट्रीम लेवल ऑफ कॉन्साइंस, गिल्ट फीलिंग, एक्सट्रीम लेवल, क्राइसिस ऑफ कॉन्साइंस. यहाँ तो गए, हम यहाँ क्या लिखोगे तुम? So many, it happened with many people. Be careful. Verify while writing. यहाँ भी क्वेश्चन लिखा रहता है, क्वेश्चन पेपर भी देते हैं, यहाँ पे सारे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. या फिर QCA से इंटेलिजेंट थिंग टू डू, स्टार्ट विद द क्वेश्चन यू नो द बेस्ट. वो फिर टेम्पो बिल्ट होगा. कॉन्फिडेंटली फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन लिख दिया, फिर टेम्पो बिल्ट होगा. सो यू विल स्मूथ आउट. Don't start with a question you don't know. Confidence will shatter. Every time question 1 or 2 questions is very difficult. No one knows answer to that. Ignore. End में लिख दो वो जितना आता है थोड़ा बहुत. कुछ तो आएगा, इतना पढ़ा है. कोई कीवर्ड ही पकड़ लो, यूएन का कोई बॉडी पूछ दिया, नहीं पता, यूएन पे लिख दो कुछ थोड़ा बहुत. एक आध मार्क दे देगा. If there is a trend, everyone is writing this way, so सबको एक ही देगा. If you start from here only, तो मतलब you may shatter your confidence, but people have high EQ also. Also read the question also every first question paper, because okay, if you don't read, you start writing, fine, but सबको time दे रहे तो 20 question, you did not read any questions, you started from question 1. ये booklet से बाहर भी नहीं निकला. Many people do. I was sitting here front, year 1 was sitting, and she took the paper and she saying ये question paper तो निकाल लो. ऐसे पकड़, she removed the question paper and gave. And the exam was over. She was collecting the paper. He didn't remove the question paper also. Wrong strategy. Read questions, because suppose 19 everything you are writing and 10-15 minutes are left to the last question, and last question is such that you don't know anything. You wasted 10-15 minutes. You would have used that writing better answers, improving your presentation. Reading question paper also is very important. क्या क्या कुछ नहीं मिलता. 3 minutes पहले देंगे तुम्हें और खोलोगे तो डांट भी खाओगे. क्यों खोला? टाइम अभी तक चालू नहीं. It depends from center to center. In generally in Delhi, it's very strict. UPSC has very vigilant eyes centers in Delhi, but now they have standardized all centers also. They also send their people there to ensure that this protocol is followed only 3 minutes before the bell rings, so that you can read the instruction. That is going to read the instruction, not the question paper. Before, some centers happened 15 minutes before they were giving the questions. So after that, many, like someone complained to UPSC that they started implementing this protocol very strictly. If you want to risk, बोलो instruction ही पढ़ रहे, थोड़ा देख लिया क्या है. It's up to you. What can I say? So write down now. Give example Hansychronia. You Google yourself and read about that. Example of Hansychronia. Google that and write yourself. CRONJE. Otherwise, write Srishant. But this is more proper because he came on the press conference. He go and watch or read that story or read his press conference also. He was crying also. But they were caught. Hansychronia and the board was successful in hiding that. Steve Smith, David Warner were caught on camera. They were manipulating that ball. That other person was manipulating. I don't know. I don't remember his name. But the entire team, captain, vice captain, were held responsible for that. Darren Lehman was the coach, I guess. He was not even aware. So now write ethical dilemma. Here will write a bit difference. So ethical dilemma situation. It can happen before the decision and after the decision. Ethical dilemma, you have to take some decision. Where? No, indirectly, without taking decision also core value gets compromised. You may not act also, but you realize that something is not right. You refuse to act. That's why people many say that they have gone blank, not able to take decision. डिसीजन देने के बाद ही होता है ना एथिकल डिलेमा. पहले क्राइसिस में होगा. इट कैन हैपन बोथ आल्सो बिफोर आफ्टर, बट क्राइसिस ऑफ कॉन्शियस विल डेफिनेटली हैपन बिफोर, बिकॉज एथिकल डिलेमा यू टेक डिसीजन, वन एथिकल वैल्यू इज कॉम्प्रोमाइज फॉर श्योर. व्हेन हाँ बट कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लिया ना तुमने एक वैल्यू. Here you may not take a decision only, still your core values are challenged. In organizational setup, see, ethical dilemma, public interest versus order, superior order. दोनों में से चूज करना है. You are in organizational setting, so dilemma happened. Largely effect will be afterwards because one value you have compromised, ethical value, and this is competence against two ethical values. Both are ethical, public interest and order also. Weberian ethos, listen to the superior's order, follow the hierarchy. So both are ethical values. Crisis of conscience पहले और बाद में. Ethical dilemma largely after the decision. Because your value has been compromised. You have compromised one ethical value. Here, crisis of conscience, people may not take decision also. So before the decision, we also have high level. Yes, dilemma can happen, but what is ethical dilemma? What you have written is mandatory to take that decision. That has been written. So after the decision, dilemma will continue to happen in your head. But largely we interpret afterwards ethical dilemma. Here both before and after. We are not in compulsion to act. And Sychronia was not in compulsion to act or come to the media. So in ethical dilemma, right? In ethical dilemma, there may or may not be an extreme level of guilt feeling. May or may not be extreme level of guilt feeling. As ethical dilemma may be general, moderate and extreme level. And when it is extreme level, people may feel crisis of conscience. People may have crisis of conscience. May have or may feel crisis of conscience. It is in this context both have similarities. In this context, both have similar. If ethical dilemma is extreme level, then you can have crisis of conscience. In this, so in this context, both have similarities. See, largely in simple words, ethical dilemma. If you traveling in a metro and you go in the woman's coach, that is dilemma, not crisis of conscience. There you can face dilemma. In metro, you are traveling and accidentally you go into woman's coach, reserved for women. That may not result extreme level of crisis of conscience. You may feel yes, it is wrong. Extreme turmoil may not happen. The level of extremeness. Dilemma is there at least. Wrong decision has been made, or accidentally you went. No, many times question has come, what is crisis of conscience, how to overcome. So write this way only. Proper socialization, etc. Okay. So next, accountability and ethics in governance. Emotional intelligence, have flexibility, flexible attitude, positive attitude. Right then, to deal with crisis of conscience, one should have, to avoid crisis of conscience, one should have a flexible nature. Have a flexible nature, have a positive attitude, be open to criticism. Flexible attitude, flexible nature, positive attitude, be open for criticism. Crisis of conscience in civil services can be avoided if one sticks to the code of conduct, the code of ethics. Crisis of conscience in civil services can be avoided if one sticks to code of conduct, code of ethics. Conscience-based decisions are based on bona fide intentions. Bona fide intentions. Even the governance system should promote culture of innovation and creativity. Which is able to distinguish between bona fide and mala fide errors. Right, further, as the process of socialization plays an important role, in civil services, give comma before in civil services. Important role, if you have written important role, then give one comma. In civil services, recruitment, training, promotion, etc. should be guided by ethics in governance. Okay. Anyone missed out on anything? Give me the book who has written everything. I have dictated it. So there is proper socialization also, that the institution is ensuring proper socialization. Socialization means right values are promoted. There is no transfer promotion industry. It's not, promotion is based on objectivity and merit, not on nexus, corruption, etc. So proper socialization will be promoted. If you are meritorious, you will be promoted. If you have nexus, corruption, if these people are promoted, then there will be a feeling of injustice, which can further result in faulty socialization for these people. who have been promoted in a wrong way, then there is a scope for crisis of conscience. Because suppose this person has a value of integrity, but these values are constantly challenged. Extreme level of tension also can happen. Even if I have integrity, everything, still I am not promoted. I am not getting permanent postings where I can ensure a change in society. That's why many people leave this, resign, suffer crisis of conscience also. Many also commit suicides. You must have read crisis of conscience. A wrong socialization is not necessarily in your upbringing. Socialization also has organizational aspects also. Recruitment, training, favorite of cabinet minister is also there. Favoritism is shown in training, high marks in training. Recruitment also we know how it can be gamed. Suppose interview also favoritism is shown. This organization is promoting wrong socialization. Wrong social values have been ingrained. Okay, then accountability. एक मिनट Yes, you are right, socialization, but organization is promoting wrong values. And then also it can result in extreme turmoil. Not only you have that hierarchy department, you raise these issues, department, then CAT, SAT, High Courts, Cabinet Secretary, PMO, or afterwards if you say considering too much of this is happening, then media etc. or resignation are extreme step if you feel totally misfit. Yes, many people resign also to pursue private sector, like the current railway minister. He worked for some years, then higher education, then corporate, then now सबके बॉस बन बैठे सारे आईएएस के, at least some. This examination is not the end. This examination is not the only one that have good opportunities. Many people feel frustrated also in this sector because they may be multi-talented. The talent gets restricted. Yes, that is the. If you're highly talented, you have to work according to rules. You cannot show innovation, etc. Yes, low IQ people may, yes, high IQ people may not face crisis of conscience. May, but yes, situation is such, what can one do? Extreme level of total integrity and good values are also challenged. But people can manage also, regulate their emotions, act in a socially desirable way. So, see, accountability, will deal with accountability. What is the concept? Then accountability, responsibility. Then mechanisms to uphold accountability and ethics in governance. That is, what is governance, good governance, ethical governance, what is government, what is administration. Okay. So what is accountability now? Hmm. What is accountability? Answerability. Answer to who? Yes. It's more of a formal concept. Okay. In your home, you are accountable, but not that much hierarchical accountability. It's more of a formal organizational concept. That is, accountability is answerability. Answerability for what? Your actions. And it is more important in for public servants or civil servants, because they have authority, and authority and accountability are synonymous. That is, authority should have accountability as well. They go together. So civil servants exercise authority, so there should be accountability also, that is answerability for their actions. Generally it is hierarchical accountability. Top down accountability. Top will make people this accountable. Bottom up, afterwards. Initially it is top down accountability, that is, people at the top, people at the bottom are accountable to the top. DM is accountable to his superiors, and all bureaucrats are accountable to the ministers, and minister is accountable to the people through the parliament, through question hour, etc. So also accountability is ensured through rules, procedures, rules and laws, regulation. That is accountability. Institution of accountability are also there in civil services. That the 5 C's. 5 C's make the bureaucrats accountable also. So largely accountability is a what? A formal concept. You understand formal, not informal concept. Informal is responsibility. Accountability is largely a formal concept. So many accountabilities, basically see political executive, accountability is the parliament, the bureaucrats, or civil servant will include accountability laws, rules, regulations, and the political master. Rules, regulations, also corruption, anti-corruption agencies. Judges are also accountable. Judges are accountable to whom? Huh? Yes, constitution or the parliament, the removal of judges. If total misdeeds happen, then impeachment motion happens here. Judges Enquiry Act, I guess 1968 governs the conduct. Judges Enquiry Act. Parliament, impeachment motion. But impeachment motion is likely not that effective, because inquiry happens, I guess 100 people are required in parliament to start an inquiry. Then the committee is formed of 3 people. Then committee, yes, judges are, the committee finds you guilty. Okay, after guilty, there will be motion in the parliament to remove that. So three people, they found this judge guilty. Judge knows he is guilty, so rather than being removed, he resigns. So no, that's why no judge has been impeached till now. Many have been found guilty, I guess. A.K. Ganguly, Soumitra Sen also, I guess. Soumitra Sen also, and P.D. Dinakaran, all were found guilty, but they resigned. So no judges impeached. That's why there is also need for reforms in judiciary also. Many things happened. NJAC, I guess, National Judicial Accountability Commission was proposed, but this was struck down by the courts, violation of the basic structure of the constitution. And basic structure was made by who? Judiciary only. Yes, that is also one aspect. That is also, it is said, Indian judiciary is the most powerful judiciary in the world. Before they were interpreted that yes, Indian judiciary is by procedure established by law. That is Indian way, and US constitution follows due process of law. So in Menka Gandhi case, they said we have this also. So expanding more powers, and then they have also invented the basic structure. Yes, judicial independence is required. We know when executive becomes strong, then the three pillars start shaking. Parliament already shaken, judiciary also shaken. Then who will make the executive accountable? As happened, yes. Then as happened during the Indira Gandhi time, judiciary turf wars started. Now also you can see Parliament is not that. Till at least 2024, it was not as effective. The opposition was less. There was no leader of opposition. Now our Parliament is functioning also. Judiciary is also now beginning with proactive also. Good for democracy. So accountability is this. Accountability is answerability. It's more of a formal concept. In civil service, you should be accountable to rules, laws, etc. Why accountability is needed? Because civil services have the authority, they have power to tame that power and make them answerable, so that power is not misused. There exist accountability mechanisms. And accountability mechanisms, we know, are what? Yes, 5 C's: immediate is law, rules, regulation, superiors, departmental level, 5 C's, anti-corruption bureaus, etc. That is a mechanism to ensure accountability. This is accountability. So any doubts here in accountability? Write down this, then we'll discuss significance. Otherwise, there will be too much things to write. Accountability is a formal concept. In civil services, which means answerability. Or give detailed account of one's action. Next point. It is a position-based concept. Position-based concept. That is, civil servants hold some position and have authority to take decisions They are made answerable for exercising authority. They are made answerable for exercising authority. Next, it's a formal concept. Because there is an explicit mechanism. For upholding accountability. Such as write one, civil servants, like procedure, rules, laws. Huh? These are the mechanisms which are for civil servants for upholding accountability. For civil servants. For civil servants, rules, procedures, laws, ethics and values. Ethics and values also. Institutions to uphold accountability. To uphold accountability, such as the 5 C's. So now next, right, political representative. Political representative. Political they are held accountable by the parliament. They are held accountable by the parliament. Through various mechanisms. Such as question hour, 0 hour, adjournment motion, censure motion, etc. Adjournment motion, censure motion, etc. Adjournment motion, censure motion to censure a minister for giving wrong facts, I guess. Censure, privilege motion is also there. Many motions are there. And then right, for judges, removal of judges by the parliament. Judges Enquiry Act. Therefore, civil servants are expected to exercise their authority Therefore, civil servants are expected to exercise their authority as per rules, laws, procedures, and ethical standards. And then their behavior can be considered accountable. Then their behavior can be considered accountable. Can be considered accountable. On the whole, concept of accountability is associated with exercise of power. Is associated with exercise of power. Huh? Moral accountability. That's why we also discussed there, it cannot ensure objectivity, conscience. Whom you are not acting as per laws in conscience. So what can be the significance of accountability? And yes, very good. Okay. And what can be more significant? Huh? Better decision making. How? When you are accountable. That's significance. Okay. And we also know that you should go overboard the rules also for quality of decision. Yes, mostly in general situations. Proper exercise of power. Checks and balances. Ethical governance. Bata diya. At least some would have connected with corruption. It gives you power. Power comes discretion. Discretion is the main phenomena which promotes corruption. Linkages. Anyways, some good quotes. Lord Acton, power corrupts. Absolute power. Corrupts absolutely. And Abraham Lincoln, if you want to test a man's character, give him power, and with great power comes great responsibility. Who? It is not power which corrupts, but the fear of losing power corrupts. Aung San Suu Kyi, I guess. You know Aung San Suu Kyi? Okay, good. Also, the exercise of power depends on the values which have been cultivated while coming to power. You cultivate some values, power, here it is power, you are cultivating some powers, some values. That will determine your exercise of power. Wrong values, wrong character formation, misuse of power. Right values you cultivate while coming to power, right character, right exercise of power. You're studying ethics, you are cultivating good values, you come to power, most likely good character. You're studying ethics just to clear your examination. May not change your character, you still also clear, character will be shown. When power comes, real character will come out. Many instances, corrupt bureaucrats, this ethics for only superficial. Because they are going to clear the exam. Motive may be different to come to these services. Also, Max Weber, you know Max Weber? Weber, he said, power is the dash of administration. What can be this dash? Power is dash of legitimacy of administration. Fill in the blanks. Yes. You have to fill this blank, not dash of administration. हाँ क्या आ सकता है? अभी administration तो I guess I have given a broad concept. What is bureaucracy? Bureaucracy exercises power. Power based on rules, regulation, everywhere. Power, don't act according to your emotions, act according to rules. Exercise of power, become emotional less, then there will be efficiency. Yes, a front of backbone a bit. बैकबोन के क्या सामने आते हैं? बैकबोन ये है ना, स्पाइन. बैकबोन आगे से यहाँ से नीचे तक जाता है, उसके सामने क्या आता है? हार्ट ऑफ द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. Heart of administration. So heart pumps blood to the body. So without heart, can body exist? Yes, brain dead person can exist. No, with brain, I guess the artificial heart they can burn, but biologically not. So without power, administration cannot exist. But power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Also, second ARC gave this formula: power plus discretion minus accountability equal to corruption. That is the significance of accountability. Power you have, because power is the heart of administration. Power will give discretion. You minus accountability from that. This will result in corruption. Second ARC, ARC2. I don't know from where they borrowed or they manufactured, but I have read in that. Power plus discretion minus accountability equal to corruption. This is significance of accountability. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Many examples. I will discuss later those examples. Huh? Lord Acton. Acton. I will make you write that also, don't worry. Now what to do? Discretion, you know what is discretion? Yes, autonomy, that have discretion, freedom to take decisions. Yes, according to will, according to conscience, freedom to take decision, that is make. Okay, that is enough. I guess power plus discretion minus accountability is corruption. That is the significance of corruption. So, for this, power plus discretion. Discretion is freedom to take decision. Now, to control this, there are some controls also. Yes, some controls are there. Make in the end, I may redraw it. If okay, controls. Controls can be what? Some traditional. Okay. Traditional. Some can be contemporary, right? New, I guess contemporary. Traditional, which were traditional, I guess we can further classify it into formal, informal. See, traditional means that before the concept of governance, good governance came, before 92. Okay, some traditional accountability, which was largely what? Formal, it is hierarchical. You can see hierarchical. Institutional. That is 5 C's. Okay. Informal. What can be informal mechanism before this came? Huh? Traditional controls for power and distribution, that is before the concept of governance, good governance came. It was all government oriented controls. Okay. Huh? Ensures control. Max Weber भूल गए? You are here. ये hierarchy समझ लो. Yes, superior, subordinate. No worries. The outcome can be simple also. No one need to get demoralized. Everyone has a different learning space. Several videos are there. Video will be accountable to who? What is the hierarchy? Video. DM. Then SDM, I guess. DM. Police constable. SI. SHO. Yes, head constable. SHO. SP. Then senior superintendent of police. ADG. DG. Minister. IG minister. So this is hierarchical accountability, departmental accountability. Okay.
Multiple participants. Informal.
Formal? But okay. We also, this can be media. Media then also existed, now also it exists. Civil society. Okay. So now contemporary. Contemporary can be what? RTA, Civil Citizen Charter, Social Audit. And ethics and values also. Yes, ethics and values. Okay, and this is two types of corruption. Coercive and collusive. Okay, this is what it is. Now make if you want to make. Or yes, this will become a formal mechanism, and informal can be social media. This is also now become part of organization. Social media RTA, there has been legalized. Every organization is, and every organ is mandatory to publish citizen charter. Some schemes have inherently social audit. Narega, social audit. Social media accountability is largely informal. In Twitter, people raise issues complained informally. That IS Maharashtra case first came on Twitter. Informal accountability, then it became formalized. So power plus discretion minus accountability is equal to corruption, coercive corruption, collusive corruption. Then for this is very dangerous. Power plus discretion, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Discretion means freedom to take decision. To control, the controls are here. Controls are traditional and contemporary. Contemporary for the formal, informal, hierarchical, institutional, the 5 C's. Informal was media, civil society. And here contemporaries, ethics and values, RTI, citizen charter, social audit. Yes, ethics and values were here also, but now it's more emphasized as there is ethics and governance and good governance also. Okay. हो गया सबका? So, should we start? I'll make you write the quotes, don't worry. Okay. So, see, traditional accountability was this all formal hierarchy institution, but the problem about traditional accountability is what it was not as effective. There's all nexus corruption. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. That is what is. That is how some thinkers put it. Traditional accountability, I scratch your back, you keep scratching mine. We will manage everything. That is corruption, etc. So it was not very effective. Lot of committees made an observation. They found the 5 points that due to which there is India is very corrupt. First, Santanam committee, you know, Santanam, only committee in India that was made for corruption. 1964, I guess. It made first observation was discretionary powers. The main source of corruption. In India, main reason for corruption in India is discretionary powers. That is what Santanam committee made an observation. Next, it observed that the centralization of power. Concentration of power. That is due to which there is corruption is happening. Also, ARC2 identified 2 main reasons. First was the British legacy. Because of the British legacy, there is corruption in India, and mostly one important reason that people are crazy for government jobs. As government as the only employer, major employer, that is the reason this corruption exists. How the government jobs are 2, UPSC 100 government jobs, 1000 approx. Many times it goes to 700 also. How many are applying? 10 lakh people are applying. Why so desperancy for government job? Because it observed that government is a major employer that time, 2008. So people want to get through anyhow. Then they get through anyhow. Then power comes, very powerful corruption. Also lower exams, SSC, etc. Lot of applicants, I guess. Few seats, that application is also very huge. I don't know the exact number here also, but this is okay. UPSC, at least some integrity is there here. I guess not that much. Also in state services or state lower exams, I think there is all corruption, recruitment, corruptish recruitment. Corruption will happen only. That's why it further says private sector should be encouraged. People should look alternative rather than government sector. Only government sector being a primary source of employment is a reason for corruption in India. That people get through it. This recruitment corruption happens, then they have to recover that money also. Then power it gives, we know, government job gives this power plus discretion and corruption. So it identifies public employment as a main source of the corruption increases, the quality of governance goes, poor quality of services, and we know truth gets lost. That will we'll discuss. But when there is accountability in administration, efficiency and effectiveness increases, speed of decision making increases, quality of service increases, there is a sustained pace of development. Accountability plus efficiency and effectiveness, speed of development increases, quality of service increases, less gap between haves and haves now, less gap between rich and poor. Now accountability, if SEBI is made accountable, then Adaniji's allegations will be investigated. Investigation happens, then penalty will happen, jail will happen, recovery will happen. That money can be used for welfare of the people. How this? But if no accountability, manipulate the stock market, SEBI will keep quiet. That's why there is a demand for JPC, Joint Parliamentary Committee, to make whether investigate all this. It has the powers to investigate. It can call also Adaniji to testify. In US, we know very well developed system, Congress investigation. You must have seen also Zuckerberg was called, CEO, so many CEOs they question and they also live broadcast everything. See this transparency. But JPC happens in camera, I guess. In camera means only these people know. This is not live broadcast. That is modern mature democracy. That's why America is America and India is India. Quality of service. So that was the problem with traditional accountability. So in contemporary times, there is more of orientation of this participative, involve people also in ensuring accountability. This committee also observed that people are less involved in ensuring this accountability of the government and the public servant. So you involve people through RTI, citizen charter, participative accountability, bottom up accountability. This is bottom up. नीचे से भी तुम accountable हो. Top down, this your boss. Top down accountability, people, you will implement policies for the people. Bottom up accountability, this will go clear also. Bottom up accountability through tools like RTI, social audit, etc. E-governance also one kind of bottom up accountability. So there should this ethics. So it in a way this promotes ethics in governance. These are one of the tools to ensure ethics in governance. That is, there should be ethical infrastructure and ethical ecosystem. It will also develop a culture of accountability and national integrity system will develop. A cohesion, a culture, a cohesive society of accountability will develop if traditional accountability plus contemporary accountability ecosystem of accountability. Traditional, top-down, bottom-up, ecosystem. So ethics in governance. This is also known as supply side accountability. This is also known as demand side accountability. Okay. Still in India, we know this is not well developed. I gave you an illustration. If you RTI, if you expose RTI, where you will go? You will go here. Traditional. Traditional also, we know the problem of nexus issue, nexus and corruption. So what will do? This system is more developed in Scandinavian countries. They also rank very high in transparency and Transparency International Corruption Perception Index. They rank very well, highly clean system they have because of this. So accountability, etc. So that's why second year makes to have actionable accountability. There should be local ombudsman, that is local lokayukta in every district. So anything happens, you go to this. If the total system is corrupt, go to this lokayukta. Unless he is also not corrupt, then migrate out of India, go to developed countries. See, accountability supply side, because goods and services are supplied by the government, and government is held accountable by institutions, government institution, the institution created by law. CVC, PICs, they are supply side account. Demand side, demand, people are taking services. So people are making the government or the bureau accountable. So demand side accountability. Also bottom up, top down accountability. Don't get confused with the interplay of words in examination. If they ask this, same content will be the same. They will try to manipulate. They may also manufacture a different word. So use your critical thinking skills. And otherwise, we see the Hindi translation. That is also one idea. So accountability, this all is clear, significance, etc. Supply to people, supplies for the people. That is, people are the receiving end of the supply. Demand is made by the people, supplied by the government. Services, governance, administration. Now write down after that accountability and responsibility. क्या फॉर्मल अकाउंटेबिलिटी? हाँ, तो उसमें ब्रेक फर्दर करना है. ट्रेडिशनल also there are formal mechanisms, there are informal mechanisms who are also there. Media was active since independence and before independence. Before the newspaper during independence used to make British government accountable. So then you have to also write this also. Contemporary. If question asks only traditional accountability, what is traditional accountability? Don't stop there just writing traditional. You have been trapped there. Then give some critical points of traditional accountability and write one small paragraph on contemporary accountability also. And then write that both are required for this ecosystem of accountability, ethical governance. Make this. Question can also come. There is no need for traditional accountability, only this is required. Can you justify that? So you have been trapped. हाँ, तो contemporary में नहीं, but contemporary this we interpret this contemporary because which has come in since 1980s, 1990s. Traditional we interpret this. For courts, etc. have been there, but yes, CVC, CIC came after that, but they are more top down. not bottom up. Hierarchy, laws, etc. So be mindful of writing answers. Don't get trapped. Okay. This all traps people fall if they lack understanding. You think traditional to traditional, your emotions got better of you. IQ, no problem. Simple question. What is traditional accountability? Then emotions got better of you. So right now, significance of accountability. Power corrupts. Write those codes. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Lord Acton. Give that dash. That is quote is by him. By Lord Acton. Yes. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Lord Acton. Next. If you want. Lord Acton. A-C-T-O-N. A-C. Lord Acton. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely is one phrase, one quote. अच्छा, I guess character का power also corrupts, and if you go to absolute power, then absolute corruption happens. That is absolute power without accountability. Power already is corrupted. Next, right? If you want to test someone's character, give him power. Abraham Lincoln. If you want to test someone's character, give him power. Abraham Lincoln. See, whenever question comes, power corruption, you can give an intro as this quote also, or you can conclude with this quote. That is, it will further beautify your answers. Power is the heart of administration. Max Weber. Power is the heart of administration. Next, it is not the power which corrupts. But the fear of losing power. Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi. She was a Myanmar. You read yourself. Okay. She was kept in house arrest for several years by military junta. Then she stayed there for several years. Then she was released. She became the head of Myanmar. Then she also received a Nobel Peace Prize. But she was also been criticized for ignoring the issues of Rohingyas. She didn't become because they got a technical aspect that she married a British citizen, so she cannot become. But her party was in power. She was also further criticized for not taking a stand on Rohingyas, not dealing with them with compassionately. You know Rohingyas, right? Otherwise, if you don't know, then Google it. Otherwise, I'll end up ethics lecture become IR lecture. So, on the whole, administration is considered an powerful institution. On the whole, administration is considered a powerful institution. On the whole, administration is considered as a powerful institution. Therefore, there is always a threat for the misuse of power. That's why concept of accountability is emphasized. ये हो गया ना सब. Since it has been found that power has been misused by administration, be it by Indian administration or US administration, since it has been found that power has been misused by administration, be it Indian administration or US administration, it is well known today that power corrupts. Right, next point. Traditional mechanism to uphold accountability has not been effective. To uphold accountability has not been effective. So you understand traditional mechanism, right? Because, right, number one, they are formal in nature. Second, results in delays and breakdown of checks and balances. Checks and balances. Third, nexus, secrecy, monopoly, corruption. This has also been analyzed. Next नीचे लिख दो. This also has been analyzed by various committees. This also has been analyzed by various committees and commissions. Various committees and commissions. such as Santanam Committee, ARC2, I guess 1964, Santanam Committee, ARC2, which made the following observations. Observations. First, discretion among the civil servants. First, discretion among the civil servants. The most important factor for corruption. Second, centralization of power. Third, the legacy of British rule. Next, public employment is a main source of employment. As the main source of employment. See, whenever any state which has public employment as a main source are the most corrupt state. You observe many of these states in the Hindi belt, UP, Bihar, private sector is not there. No private sector, very few private companies, etc. So for the local people there, main source will be government employment. Even Madhya Pradesh also, even I guess in Chandigarh also there is no private sector, I guess, no private companies. Yes, Haryana there is, I guess, private sector, Noida, etc. Punjab also, I guess, very less private sector is there. Yes, Haryana, it has lot of big private sector companies, Noida, Gurgaon. So there, relatively, you can see if we plot the graph of two aspects, that is private sector. If it is booming, the corruption graph will go down. If private sector is less, then corruption will be high in that state. The Hindi belt, that's why the Hindi belt are not much developed. In the Bimaru states, they call it. Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. Though governance is improving, but still private sector is not. In South India is more developed because private sector is there. Bangalore is the Silicon Valley of India. Mumbai, financial capital of India. That's why corruption is less, relatively less, not in absolute sense. पहले दो recommendation, observation, are of Santanam Committee, and the last two are of ARC2. See, British legacy, there is Nazrana, Sukrana, I guess some tradition was there carried from Mughal Empire, the gift culture. Nazrana, Pursha. So I think in Diwali, if anyone from public sector, you get gifts. This is a bribe only. What is that? To get your work done, or you have done it their work, so they are giving you gifts, gold coins, phones, etc. That is what Nazrana, Sukrana, etc. is. Private sector, you get Diwali bonus 2 or 3 times of your salary. Huge bonus. Also, many CEOs have hefty salary. Per month, they also make 100 crore plus. So, imagine your power and that IS officer's power. IS officer's power and his power. I guess yesterday only, few days back, Cognizant CEO is Salary per month is 168 crores. Crores per month. Yes, FT salary. You go and check Wall Street CEO salary, billions of dollars salary there. Yes, shareholding, etc. Yes, dividends. You come to senior position, you will also get shares. You get a stake in their company. You get a stake in government of India. 60 years after 60 years, who are you? Take your pension and go. अभी तो पेंशन की भी कंट्रीब्यूशन करना पड़ता है. New pension scheme, you have to keep contributing every month salary. Old pension scheme, government used to give 50% of your last salary drawn, I guess. Now see this, that's why private sector too should be encouraged in the Hindi belt. But law and order issue is there, etc. issues there. Terrain issues there. I guess Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, it's all hilly area. Yes, how you will develop? You need flat for transportation and to set up industries, plateau type of plains. Yes, organic farming. Yes, law and order should be proper. Law and order is the main. If law and order is proper, then tourism, etc. can happen. But you know that small netas, Babu, Lala, they want to become neta, become gundas. How tourists will come? Yeah. I guess Uttarakhand was in Nepal. Anglo and Nepal war. British took Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand was before part of Nepal. Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh also, I guess. Yes, it was part of Nepal, I guess. Nepal kingdom. Then Anglo-Nepal war happened. The British annexed that. We will use that place for summer holidays. So that is also good. Interesting. Trump initially was very surprised. Look at this country. There is different country here. Nepal, there is different country. Bhutan, what is this? He called very demeaning words that I wanted. Yes, people get surprised. What is this? A country surrounded by so many countries. The US, there is only one country, big country, and one open. You also take European countries. Entire Europe is more or less the same. It's European Union, Eurozone. That's why borders are settled. India borders are not settled. That is the main issue. Hindering development, too much money spent on defense, not on welfare of people. Therefore, accountability suffered in terms of misuse of power. Therefore, accountability suffered due to the misuse of power. Increasing corruption. Poor quality of services. Increasing corruption, poor quality of services. Also, because of this, many South Indian states do not even conduct state services examination for many years. Telangana, you check when happened last. I guess now it's happening. That's why they don't conduct also. There is already a good private sector. If you want a job, go there. That was also idea of Modi ji initially. That's a startup, etc. was promoting, but nothing happened. That sector where it boomed. Again, because yes, that is also private sector is there. Very few. Yes, that kind of society is there. But because there are only two people, there is not democratized entrepreneurship. Only few people are doing entrepreneurship. Democratized, difficult, not possible. Not possible, but not happened. Therefore, accountability suffered in terms of misuse of power, increasing corruption, poor quality of services, arbitrary exercise of power, increasing gap between haves and have-nots, On the other hand, if there is accountability, in government and administration, it will lead to number one, efficiency and effectiveness. Number two, quality of service. Number three, sustained pace of development. Pace. All right, sustainable development. All right, inclusive development. Less gap between rich and poor. In contemporary times, onwards, 1980s onwards, new mechanism of upholding accountability have emerged, known as social accountability. Example, RTI, social audit, citizen charter, e-governance, also electronic governance. Also, there is increasing emphasis on ethics in governance. Ethics in governance. That is, government should have ethical infrastructure, ethical ecosystem, ethical integrity system, that is institutional integrity, personal integrity, impeccable integrity, all it should promote. Such practices are already found in Scandinavian countries. In some Scandinavian countries. Scandinavian countries, Norway, Switzerland, Finland, that are Scandinavian countries, neighbors of Russia. Okay. Therefore, it is not only social accountability. It is not only social accountability, but also ethics and governance, which has become important. Which has become important in ensuring accountability in administration. In ensuring accountability in administration. So now question for you. If you miss something, ask me. Okay, I'll repeat. Everyone is equal here, but no one will get special treatment, but there will be differential treatment. Okay. Yes, equality principle will be there. Everyone will be explained. That is your rights. Differential principle, different people have different pace of learning. People come from different backgrounds. So what is our accountability and responsibility same? Accountability and responsibility same? No. And what is the difference? Very good. Nice. And yes, sir. Very good. Go ahead. Common information. Answerable? No, may not be answerable. Okay. Tell. Are you a responsible person? So governance is an art. So let's move to ethics and governance now. हाँ तो एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया ना डिटेल में. नहीं ये टॉपिक what he says, we talked about how accountability and responsibility should be together. So that's why Modi ji also talked about that. Governance is an art. Accountability, responsibility and transparency should come together. So that way you can conclude the significance of both. Ethics and governance. Ethics and governance is what? We'll break down each what is governance, etc. gradually. For you tell now what is ethics and governance. Tell. Very good. Thus, prima facie, it is that only application of ethical standards in governance, that is ethics and governance. Then what is governance? Huh? Quality of regulation. Then what is good governance? Good regulation. That is not quality. What is governance? What is government? Government is Sarkar. Modi Sarkar. Aap Sarkar in Punjab, I guess. What is governance? Yeah. Quality. Then what is good governance? Good. Yes, what is governance? The government, then what is government? Governance. Yes, what is governance? What is good governance? Quality of? Then governance and good governance same. That is government also. Function of government is government. What is governance? Giving service. That is what government also does. Yes, to a large extent it is right. To simple words, governance is about participative decision making. Decision was made by government. Government decides on the basis of inputs from bureaucracy. When you are also involved, you are consulted, that becomes governance. That you are also part of decision. When bill is made, it is put in public domain for views by the people. You write views. I don't like this bill. Take back. That is governance. Understood? World Bank defined governance as the way in which countries' resources are managed in its social and economic development. This is definition by World Bank, who invented this term. The manner in which countries' resources are managed in the country's social and economic development. So the keyword is managed. This is what is governance. Okay. That is, in other sense, it is what participative decision making. That is governance. Okay. So who will participate now in governance? World Bank definition. They invented this term on the backdrop of poor governance in African nations. They were. I'll make you right. Don't worry. They were implementing some programs in Africa. So their programs were not effective. They found reasons. They found corruption, arbitrary excess of power. Then they said that there should be governance. At this, people should also be involved in policy implementation. So they gave this definition in this next report. First report, they identified the reasons of corruption. Next report, they published after same years, I guess in 96. No, 89 was the first report. 92 and 96, yes. 89 first report, they identified the reasons for malgovernance, poor governance. In 92, they defined governance. What is governance? And in 96, what they defined? Good governance. Yes. So here, reasons Yes, this was governance and development, some name of the report, I don't remember. 3 reports, I'll give you tomorrow. Here first they identified the reasons, defined governance, here defined good governance. That is governance. So governance is about participatory decision making. For your simple understanding, who will participate? People, government, yes, they are included, and civil societies or NGOs. This is governance. Triangle inscribed in a circle. It is 60, 60, 60, I guess. Equilateral triangle inscribed in a circle. So governance, government, people, and civil society or NGOs. If ethical standards are met, then ethics will revolve here. Then this becomes ethics in governance. Okay, clear what is governance? It is about creating enlightened policy making. Enlightened people will participate, they will get enlightened. That is good governance. Enlightened policy making, consensus oriented. We'll discuss good governance, no need to worry. Yes, deliberative democracy. This is only deliberative democracy. But now, how it also short circuits democracy. Who will participate in this? Educated people. What about poor people? How they will participate? But who? Are they even aware about this? There is something there. That's why the responsibility of these people. They should make people aware about the process of governance and encourage people's participation. For effective governance, this was, basically it was also known as traditionally exercising of authority was also known as governance. Then this World Bank, everything came, the concept of governance emerged in the by way of this financial institutions observation in Africa. There was poor administration, etc. Then it identified the reasons for malgovernance, and then it also gave that there should be some pillars for governance. There should be rule of law, the rule of law should be there, then only governance can happen. Transparency, accountability, and efficient management. This should be the pillars of governance. This they identified as pillars of governance. Pillars of governance, not good governance, it's different. Okay. Towards 1960s and 80s, 1980s, 1989, we discussed how World Bank gave this definition of governance, and now in later in 91 or 90 or 96, they gave good governance. Good governance. For later, then it emerged a concept of indigenous governance also. Indigenous governance, see, this all is defined from Western perspective. What is good, what is governance? Okay, Western perspective. This also promotes a shell of democracy. What is a shell of democracy? Do you understand shell? Shell, which is covering hard inside. Hard outside, hollow inside. A hollow democracy it promotes because government has been elected by the people and they are implementing financial institutions agenda of governance, good governance. Good practices, indigenous practices are ignored. Like we also discussed, what is good in an Islamic country? What is good? Yes, living as per Islam, that is good. But what they define good here? Accountability, responsibility, transparency. What is good in India? Spiritual way of life. That is good. But this is defined in this way. What is good in Bhutan? Happiness. Happiness is good. But they are defining this all. So that is Western perspective. So indigenous also, it led to the growth of indigenous models of governance also. That's why Modi ji talks about governance is an art. Minimum government, maximum governance. Indian model, this is first referred by who? Minimum government, maximum governance. Modi ji. Second ARC mentions this. It has a chapter on all this. Minimum government, maximum governance. Second ARC was published in 2008. Under Veerappa Moily, this committee was formed. So now, this is governance. Governance is clear. Any problem with governance? Then what is good governance now? Good governance. People proactive. But what is this good? Ethical governance. Then what is good governance? Gandhi's Tarisman is good. That is conscience. That is ethical governance mode. What is good governance? World Bank defined good governance. That is governance. Yes, one of the parameters. What is good for you? Tell. What is good for you? That I'm asking. Well, how you define good? Happiness. Happiness is good. Bhutan. What is good? Better? That is good. Then what of the worst of people? Yes, what is good? What can be good in good governance? Okay, inclusivity. Yes, one of the good. What is good? Huh? Justice, okay. So rule of law. Inclusiveness. कौन से बताओ? ऑब्जेक्टिविटी नहीं आता बोलना. हाँ. आर्ट. नहीं मोना. See, good means quality aspects. Good means quality aspects. Okay. It recommends quality aspects. What is How World Bank interprets good means quality aspect, and governance is management of resources. So what is quality? It identifies 8 components for quality. Okay. So what can be the 8 components? So participation, efficiency and effectiveness, equity, rule of law, accountability, responsibility, transparency and consensus orientation. This is what is good governance. Okay. This is what is good governance according to World Bank. It interprets good as a quality aspects in governance, and it says quality, for quality there should be this all 8 pillars should be present: participation, efficiency, effectiveness, equity, rule of law, accountability, responsibility, transparency and consensus based decisions, consensus orientation. When this will happen, there will be enlightened policy making. Policy making will have nirvana, highest form of policy making, wisdom oriented policy making. This is what World Bank talks about good governance. Okay. Now see, remember these values, make your own short forms. Peer art, peer, peer pressure, so be artistful, art, peer art, company. Participation, the 2 is efficiency and effectiveness, equity, rule of law, art, accountability and consensus orientation. Okay, good. This is what is good governance according to World Bank. That is, there should be democratic way of governance. You understand democratic way? Democratic way will happen when there is consensus based decisions. Administration should be citizen friendly. If there is citizen friendly, then only it can promote participation. Without citizen friendly administration, how participation is possible? This all will result in administration should also be responsive, responsibility. This all will result in quality of service and enlightened policy making of the highest form. Also, there are some basic motives, which is it promotes democratic way of governance. That is the resultant of this quality of service, citizen friendly, responsible. So, minimum government, maximum governance is an indigenous aspect of good governance. See, meet hexagon, because hexagon is given by World Bank. It's better to make hexagon. Bear in mind, World Bank report. Yes, octagon, hexagon, that only. That I meant. Consensus oriented. Now you write down all this, and lastly we will discuss the difference between governance and good governance. Otherwise, there will be too much things to write. Next, when you write good governance, okay, now you write down all this. Ethics in governance. Those are made. Okay, made. I'll give time to make. When you write good governance, it means PR art company, CEO. Otherwise, make your own short forms. Ethics in governance, it means governance based on established standards of ethics. Based on established standards of ethics. Ethics in governance means governance based on established standards of ethics. Now write governance. Give a heading governance. Ethics in governance, in the next class we will discuss more in detail. Okay. Process of decision making. decision in which decision making, decision in which there is participation of various stakeholders be it public, private, or the third sector. Third sector means NGO, be it public, private, or the third sector is NGO, etc. World Bank defines governance as the manner in which authorities exercise in the management of country's resources. Authorities exercise in the management of country's resources for socio-economic development. When this behavior is guided by ethical standards, it becomes ethics in governance. Guided by ethical standard, it becomes ethics in governance. Give heading relation between governance, good governance, and ethics in governance. Governance, good governance, and ethics in governance. So at phase 1, traditionally there was a system of government which exercises authority this act of exercising authority is known as governance. Therefore, governance was associated with the exercise of authority by the state. Governance was associated with the exercise of authority by the state. Right, phase 2. Yes, before the financial institutions gave, before 1980s. 80s. 89 में दिया था governance concept. Before 1980s, era of 1980s. One decade is called 80s, 90s, 2000. That's a decade. Phase 2. The concept of governance emerged in contemporary times. Led by financial institutions. Contemporary times, led by financial institutions. Especially World Bank. It goes beyond merely exercising authority. It goes beyond merely exercising authority. It talks about management of resources. The pillars of governance were identified. As at first, efficient management, transparency, accountability, rule of law. However, during this phase, governance was largely linked with development led by Western countries. Phase 3. It is onwards. That timeline may not be useful for you. It's useful for other subjects. It's only you should know what is governance, good governance, etc. Phase 3, the most recent phase. Governance is associated with indigenous approach. Is associated with indigenous approach. Indigenous one. Phase 3, the most recent phase or contemporary phase, where governance is associated with indigenous approach. more close to the people. Close to the people. And is seen and is seen and is seen or viewed and is viewed in terms of building trust. That is social capital. So government is file. Government is file, 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 and governance is life. Government is file and governance is life. File means rules and regulations. Life means people. Governance is about the people. All right, good governance. Phases of governance. Right, you can write in phase 3 Modi model of governance, minimum government, maximum governance. For phase 3, what is indigenous? What is indigenous to that country is considered good. Before, good was according to the financial institutions, how they define good. Western model of development. That was good. But now it's more indigenous. Different society interprets good and governance according to their context. So, good in India is spiritualism. Modi model of governance. Governance is an art. Islamic countries living by the teachings of Islam is good for them. Bhutan, happiness is good for them. So, indigenous, phase 3. Minimum government, maximum governance is this, phase 3. So, write good governance now. Good means, write good and then good means this. Good, do this way. Good, quality aspect of governance. Good means quality aspect of governance. World Bank interprets quality in terms of World Bank interprets quality in terms of this. Make this now. Those are not made, make this octagon and those 8 pillars you write. World Bank interprets good in terms of this, good governance in terms of this, quality of governance in terms of this. So consensus oriented, orientation, participation, efficiency, effectiveness, equity, rule of law, accountability, responsibility, transparency. Make this octagon now. That is not good. Good तो ये indigenous वाला phase 3 है ना, इसके बाद आया. हाँ, this is phase 2, governance and good governance. Phase 3 is that indigenous models. Now what Modi model of governance? This is good governance. It's not indigenous, it's given by World Bank. Yes, ये जो लिखोगे तुम. Depending on the question comes how governance has evolved. तो ये सारे phases बता. Only good governance. So you have to write this, but also write good governance. Criticism also you have to write. It is only from good is considered only from Western perspective. Does not take into account the indigenous aspect of goodness. which many countries consider good differently. So good Islamic countries, what is that? That good you write. It depends on the what the command the question is at. If command is explained, so write criticism in short. Command is examined, write bigger. Command is critically examined, then totally destroy that statement. Negate that statement. These are minor details. First, you should learn to write. That refinement will depend on first one level is level 1 is achieving. Answering level 2 will be that going emphasis on command. What is examined, what is explained, what is elucidate, what is discussed, what is evaluate, what is critically examined, what is critically discussed. That are final aspects. Then you also ignore also those commands that has also worked in UPSC, but if you want further develop it, then this is level 2 of answer right. Good governance motives are there should be democratic way of governance. Number 2, democratic way of governance. Number 2, administration should be citizen friendly. Number 3, quality of service. Number 4, administration should be responsive. Administration should be responsive to the needs and problems of the society. To the needs and problems of the society. Okay, we'll stop here. I guess it's already 7:15. I guess we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow there will be class.